Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to another episode of the Dr. Will Show. I am your host, Dr. Will, and I have been away. And I'm here to relaunch the podcast. I'm here with Dr. Stephanie Barnes, and we will be talking about getting unstuck, making things happen. And this show came about because it happened to me personally, which is why I have been away for 3 months. So here we are. Dr. Barnes Taylor, how are you doing?
Oh, I am doing wonderful. So glad to be a part of the podcast today, and glad to be a part of your return and your relaunch and helping you get unstuck.
Thank you. I see the fabulous university back there. That's all right. That's all right. So for those who are watching the show, will you please introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Dr. Stephanie Barnes Taylor, and I'm the president and founder of Fabulous University, where women learn to lead with brilliance. And I primarily work with women. I work with a few good men too, but I help leaders to become bosses, whether they want to be a boss in their organization or a boss of their own business. I help them to elevate their influence so that they can accelerate their revenue.
Awesome. Awesome. So I talk to teachers all of the time who want to make the next move. They want to present at conferences. They want to write books. They want to start their own company. Mm-hmm. But with work and family, they don't know where to start.
Okay.
How does one make sense of it all and get unstuck?
Okay. Well, like anything else, it takes a strategy. And a lot of times we have dreams, we have aspirations, we have all these great things that we want to do. But as you say, we just don't really know where to start. So it's all about having a system, a way of going about it. And I have a system that I've been using for, the past 10 or 15 years in my own personal and professional growth. But it's also one that I use with my clients in helping them to get unstuck, because that's what I help them do, either getting unstuck in their careers or getting unstuck in their lives. And I'm going to just show you just this background. You can just see kind of this pyramid, even though you can't read the words. I'm going to work you through it. But I wanted you and the viewers to see the visual of a pyramid. And at the base of this pyramid is your beliefs. Your actions are generated from your thoughts, your belief system. So it is very important to begin with vision. So that is not only the vision for where you want to go, but it is literally your mindset. Because a lot of times we possess the resources, we possess the talent, the skills, the ability to do what we want to do, but our mindset is holding us back because subconsciously we're telling ourselves we can't, or subconsciously we're getting in our own way. So that's at the base of getting unstuck and moving, is recognizing your belief system, recognizing your vision, and being able to literally see. Because a lot of times when I'm trying to come up with a plan, and even when I'm working with my clients, I literally close my eyes so that I can see them. I see them in their progress. I see them in their success. And that is so important, because you can't be what you can't see. And you kind of hear that colloquialism a lot. But that belief system is at the foundation. Then the next level are people. Because the thing that a lot of times we get caught up in is thinking that we have to do everything by ourselves. And we don't. We need people. And as I mentioned, I help people to be bosses. And that really boils down to being the CEO of their lives. And things that are skills that CEOs are competent at doing is they come up with ideas, they set the direction, they partner with people who can help them. No CEO executes without a strategic team, a strategic partnership. And it is so important for us to be the CEOs of our own lives and recognize that we need a team. And we need a team from the perspective of people who can help us, but we also need to think about the people in our lives as our board table, our board of directors, if you will, for our lives. And the thing that we need to remember with respect to that is a table has a certain number of seats. And so we need to be very deliberate about the people we invite to be at our table. And many times we have folks sitting at our table who are not adding value to us, nor are we adding value to them. And in fact, they may be feeding into that mindset that keeps us from moving forward. So it's important to embrace the power of choice as it relates to who you invite to sit at your table. So then the next level is actually coming up with your plan. Because the thing I find in working with many people, and even with myself, a lot of times we don't really build that bridge between idea and outcome. And the way you build the bridge is through strategy. You've got to come up with a plan, whether it is something as simple as putting 3 steps on a Post-it note, or something as elaborate as developing an entire strategic plan and calendaring it and all of that. But you've got to have a plan and a strategy and something that is articulated. And the thing I'll say to many who are unstuck is to really embrace the power of writing things, writing a plan, again, whether it's written out by hand or typed up some beautiful document. Writing gives things significance, because as long as it's up here, because a lot of people say, yeah, I got a plan, it's right here. Well, you can't hold yourself accountable with it being in your head. When you pull that out of your head and you write it down, you begin to give it life. And to go one step further with that plan, and again, connecting with the people, is sharing it with someone who's going to help you to be accountable. And so it's important to have that plan in place. And then the next level is mastering the art of getting mad. And what I mean by that is not literally getting mad, angry, but when challenges arise, when people are not supportive, or just when life happens, instead of getting mad and quitting, to get mad, get motivated and determined. And it's so important in that process to really be able to answer, why do I want this? Why is it really important? What am I willing to do to be able to push it forward? And am I really committed to advocating for my position, pushing forward? Or is it something that I can negotiate or compromise? And then that ties to the pinnacle of the apex of this pyramid, and that's the why. Why are you doing what you want to do? And a lot of times we think it's, I want to be successful because I want more money, or I want more prestige, or I want to accomplish this or that. But it really needs to be a purpose that fuels your fire. And it is even better when that purpose is rooted in serving others. Because whether you are working in a company and you want to progress along the way, or you want to have your own company, you have to be of service to someone else, adding value to someone else, because people aren't going to buy your product or hire you or pay you because they like you. They're going to invest in you because you're giving something of value to them. So you've got to have a purpose and know, why is this important? Because that's going to drive you when you do get mad, when you do get angry, and when you do want to quit. So just as a quick recap, you have at the base, you've got to have your beliefs, your mindset, your vision. Then you have your people. Remember, you are a CEO. You need to have strategic partnerships, and your people are seated at your board table by invitation. You've got to have a plan, a strategy that's written and articulated and also shared with your accountability partners. You've got to get mad, get motivated and determined. And then you've got to know your why, your purpose. Why is this important to you, and how is it going to add value to others?
Cool. You were getting there one time. I was like, do we need to pass the collection plate? Because she's bringing it. So let's talk about owning one's power. Sometimes,
Okay. Yes.
myself included, we feel like imposters, and we're not ready to play on that next level.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where does that mindset come from?
Okay. And see, that's why in that pyramid mindset is so important, because when we are not fully embracing our greatness, we can feel like imposters. And, it's really, I think, a desensitization of the fact that our greatness is so natural to us. Because when you're operating in your gifts and you're operating your talents, you're not trying. It's something that comes natural to you. Whatever it is that is fueling your purpose, your gift to the world, the thing that you do the best more than anyone else in the world, the thing that just really excites you, it's natural. And so a lot of times, we don't think it's remarkable because it's just like breathing. No one really, unless you're an asthmatic or have respiratory issues, you're not really conscious of breathing in or breathing out. You just do it. You just breathe. And so our talents and gifts are a lot like that. They're natural to us. And so we underestimate them and undervalue them. And this leads to this, imposter syndrome. And so the thing that I work with clients with a lot in helping them to overcome the imposter syndrome is I ask them to ask themselves a set of questions. What if we believed it when someone else recognized our greatness? And I ask that question because a lot of times the imposter syndrome shows up when somebody says, wow, you're really talented, you're great, you're awesome. And you're like, no, I didn't really do anything. Or you think they're pulling your leg. But what would happen if when they said that to you, you really believed them? What would that do for you? And what would happen then if you acknowledged your greatness rather than saying it's nothing? Because it begins simply with being able to confidently and proudly say, thank you, when someone gives you a compliment. Because a lot of times when someone recognizes our greatness, we tend to deflect, when all we simply need to do is to say, thank you. Because that not only acknowledges their recognition of our greatness, but again, it pulls this idea out of our heads to where we are able to recognize it. And then the next question that I ask them to ask themselves is, what if you saw yourself in the same light as others did? If you saw the greatness that others are recognizing. And, you can't really believe that everyone is delusional. People aren't making up compliments. There are some folks that are trying to pull your leg and say what you want to hear. But for the most part, when people recognize your greatness, they are sincere. So you have to then begin to think about, what happens finally if you don't believe them? What is the detriment to constantly deflecting the recognition of your greatness? And the detriment is you tell yourself, you erode that foundation of your beliefs in yourself, and you erode your foundation for being able to sustain whatever it is that you want to do. So you've got to be able to embrace your greatness and begin with the simple acknowledgement of thank you when someone else recognizes it.
See, this is free tonight. I should be charging y'all for this good stuff. So, we all see people in different social media platforms. We can see you, we can see others, and people are just doing great things. And we're going like, that's cool. I want to do something like that. But how do we determine our own niche and not get caught up in trying to compare ourselves to others?
Okay. Well, there are two statements that I want you to remember with respect to that. First of all, comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. And when you get into this cycle of comparing yourself to others, you are draining yourself of the joy of your own greatness. So that's the first thing, is to recognize comparison is the thief of joy. The second thing is to be able to recognize the difference between a duck and a decoy. And this is really important. I want you to envision ducks on a pond. And, if you see a duck on the pond, It's gliding across the water and looks so smooth, looks effortless. However, underneath the water is all this going on with the feet, right? So a lot of times we're looking at other people and we see them gliding across their careers and whatever's going on with them, but we don't see or recognize the struggles, the hard work, the failures that have propelled them. So it is great to admire others. You should be inspired by others, but not put yourself in a position of comparing yourself to them. So it is really great. So this kind of boils down to three things to do in order to embrace the duck. I'm gonna get to the decoy. Well, I'll just go ahead and say this before I get to the duck, to the statements. But if you think about the duck, all right, the duck is gliding across the water, is doing all this hard work, but makes it look effortless. The decoy is just sitting on the water and there is nothing of substance behind it. And that's the trap often of social media. And that's also the trap of this comparison phenomenon that we get ourselves caught up in. We're looking at a decoy, thinking this decoy is doing all these things that are great, when really that decoy is just sitting on the water floating. So we've got to learn the difference between the duck and the decoy, and then we've got to learn from the ducks. So when you see someone who's doing something great, learn about how they've achieved what they've achieved. Most folks love to talk about their successes. They love to share. Most leaders want to invest in other leaders. So talk to them, ask them, how did you get there? What paths did you go along the way to get there? How can I achieve what you've achieved in my own way? So that's something that's really important. So even if you don't know them personally, read about ducks, read about people who have done great things and get the behind the scenes story. And then once you do that, and remember when I talked about that pyramid, at the second part of it are the people. Those are the folks that you need to have sitting around your table, people who are ducks. They've done great things. They can pour into you. And then so the second thing you do is you become your own duck. Okay. You don't copy what someone else does. You learn from them and you use that to create your own unique path. And it's part of becoming your own duck is recognizing when you're being a decoy in your own life. When are you self-sabotaging? When are you succumbing to a negative mindset? Or when are you not aligning your thoughts with your actions? And then the last part of that is becoming the duck that you want others to see. Because that's the great thing about success. You get more of it when you share it with others. So it is really important to make sure that not only are you building yourself up, but you're building others. That's one great thing I love about coaching. When I coach my clients, I get as much out of it or probably more than they do, because by pouring into someone else, it fuels me. Because I can't coach my clients to do something that I won't do. So it's an accountability mechanism for me. So that's the thing with respect to looking at other folks, is to remember that comparison's the thief of joy, and that we need to know the difference between a duck and a decoy.
Cool. So now I want to throw this out to you. Some people will say, okay, I think I got my duck. Mm-hmm. I think I know what makes me special. Mm-hmm. But they say I can't start now because I need to get my logo right. I need to get my graphics right. I got to get my website and all of this stuff. So they don't start and they become they just stand there. What do you say to those people who are on the sideline and not moving forward?
Okay. Well, first of all, you don't win any games from the sidelines. You win games from getting on the field. So you've got to get past this concept, or it's a disbelief in your abilities. It's a outward projection of you doubting your own abilities. And I'm a coach. I work with a coach. My coach is Marshawn Evans Daniels. I worked with her for the past 3 years. And one of the things that she would always share with us is you've got to start before you're ready. And what she meant by that was you can't continue to use excuses because you're not going to get anything perfect. You may not have the perfect logo. You may not have all the resources you need, but you've got what it takes to get started. And so you've just got to convince yourself, get up, get off the sidelines, get on the field and play, because you're not going to learn whether or not your plan works until you work your plan. So that's the simple advice there is, get off the sidelines and get on the field. Now, obviously, there are a lot of complexities to that, but the point is you've got to start moving and not wait until everything's perfect, because it is never going to be perfect.
Nice. So before we go, and I'm going to pull up this for you. Before we go, I would like for you to share a call to action.
Sure.
With the audience. So I'm going to share my screen here.
Okay.
And I'm going to go to this turn on display. All right. And then I'll pull this. Can you see this?
Yes, I can.
All right.
All right, good. It's coming. So what you see on the screen there, for those of you who are watching, is my invitation for you to benefit from my coaching. I have on the right there is a 4-module mini course. That's a free course. It's called Making Boss Moves. And it is designed for you wherever you are in your leadership path to give you some very practical advice on building your network, getting those people to sit around your table, on how to volunteer strategically so that you can build connections and build experience, how you can maximize community board positions, and also helping you with negotiating and being able to ask for what you deserve. And of course, I'd love for you to remain connected with me. You can email me at stephanie@fabulousuniversity.me, and you can follow me on Facebook and on Twitter. I'm Crowned at Birth. And you can visit my website, stephaniebarnestaylor.com, or fabulousuniversity.me. Both of those will give you information about how you can work with me. And if you've heard something that is of interest to you and you'd like to see if I'd be a good coach or good fit for you, you can go to bit.ly/workwithsbt, and you can set up a discovery session and we can see how we might be able to work together. But most of all, I want you to remain connected. So please reach out to me. Take advantage of the free course, and you can register at bit.ly/making boss moves. But if you go to my website, you can also register for it there. But I hope you will take advantage of that, and I'd love to share that information with you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dr. Stephanie Barnes. Great show to return. I was sitting back there, and sometimes I was like, man, I could just, without the video, I could just listen to this and just let all the knowledge just pour into me today, because this was great.
Well, good. I'm so glad.
Awesome. So thanks again for coming on the show. And people, once again, the Dr. Will Show is back. I'm going to have some other announcements. And as always, this will be on my blog. This is going to be tweeted out. I'm going to have this on YouTube and put this on SoundCloud as well. And as always, people, invest in you, EDU. Peace.